I met this woman today, and she wasn't even really Christian or Catholic. I wasn't really sure what she believed, and I even wondered why she would meet with a priest. I was just so curious. But she has been having some trouble with her family and so much discord and disruption. And in her heart, she looked at me. She said, Father, I don't really believe in a lot of the things that you believe, but I'm trying to get away from my own ego. And I laughed because we all know what she's talking about. We know the inner stuff, the selfishness, the pride, the ego, the what sin has done. We know it, we feel it, we experience it, right? And I looked at her, and I had to first ask her, who is Jesus to you, right? I had to ask her the question, right? But she understood what it meant that for her, she wanted to attack and hurt and do all the things that both you and I know we're probably not supposed to do with our families, right? We know. We know we're supposed to forgive. In our gospel, how many times have we heard it, right? It's probably one of the hardest teachings in our church in the modern world. Well, one of them. I think there's a lot, right? But what makes it a lot of times I'll have, especially young people, they'll look at me and they'll say, the 10 Commandments are too much, Father. They're too much. And I'll say, what does love mean? What is love to you? What are we doing here? Why did Jesus die for us on the cross? When Jesus Christ speaks about this idea of marriage, he understood that it was hard for them. Because for the Jews, there was a bill of divorce. There was these things. Why? God slows down. He looks at him because of the hardness of your hearts. Not just them, but you and me. Priests too. Nuns too. Our hearts are hardened. Every time we look at the Lord, what do we all say? I'm not just talking about serious sins, friends, because we all have an understanding of the serious sins. The little things, the things that hurt or bother us, or the people that irritate us, we think, why, God? Why me? It's what sin did to humanity. It's not much about what he did, but it's about us, our ego, our selfishness, our pride. So what do? We find a way to radically look at our Lord in our current condition. Where are we in our life? Where are we with God? Where are our hearts? And we have a choice to go towards the Lord, or we can rebel and kick and scream and leave the very source of life. That's what the world has done. My dear friends, anytime God says no to you and to me, it's not because he doesn't love us. It's because he loves you. And as I talked to this woman, if she only knew my heart was hurting because I wanted her to know Christ. She understood ego, selfishness, pride. She knew it. But I wanted her to meet the Lord. I tell this to you because as we go through our life and live out this faith, there's always going to be questions in our hearts. Why, God? Why? Why did you do this to me? Why? But we say, God, let me see life with your eyes, your heart, your desires. And then God begins to restore the order in our hearts. We are fast approaching Lent, and I can't believe it's so fast. Lent is about giving God our hardened hearts. And later we'll talk about all the stuff we can do for Lent, but for now, think of giving God our hearts that were sick from sin. And we give it to God, and he takes it with him. He takes us into the desert with him, and he purifies our hearts and softens it. Those 40 days are about God healing our heart filled with sin. And so in the resurrection on Easter, we can live lives risen with Him.